everyone. I hope this finds you enjoying, I guess taking a rest from enjoying your summer of different activities. Like, what have you been doing? Have you been swimming in the lake, or have you been swimming in a swimming pool, or playing sports in the backyard, or maybe going on a camping trip, or helping out around home, helping out at a job perhaps. What else are you doing? Anyway, I hope you're having fun exploring nature and enjoying your summertime. So I have a story for you again this week, and this week's story is from the New Testament. It is a story about someone named Peter, whose name was Simon before it became Peter. Sometimes they call him Simon Peter. Peter, you'll remember from a couple of weeks ago, if you've been watching these videos, I told you a story about Jesus walking on the water, and Peter was the one that got out of the boat and tried to walk on the water and was successful for a little while, but then he fell because he got kind of scared. So Peter this is the story is about Peter and about why Peter is called the Rock. So that's a curious thing. I'm just going to show you, stop talking for a minute, and I'm just going to show you a picture. And this picture is called Jesus Calls the Fishers. And so this is a picture of some of Jesus' disciples. So I'll show you this right now. So in that picture, you saw some of Jesus' disciples. There are 4 of them. Perhaps their names were Peter, and Peter had a brother named Andrew, and also there was James and there was John. So those probably 4 of the disciples. Jesus had many disciples. Some of them were men, some were women, but those are 4 of the men. And then some of the men worked as fisher people. So these fisher people were having a chat one day, and that is where our story begins. Simon becomes Peter. Simon was mixed up. He had been following Jesus for many months. Simon had listened very carefully when Jesus talked. He tried so hard to understand. But often Simon just didn't know what Jesus was talking about. Simon was one of Jesus' special friends, a disciple. Jesus often sat with the disciples and talked to them about God. It was like going to school or church. Simon didn't really like this kind of school. I feel so stupid, he told Jesus one day. You explain things, everybody else knows what you mean, but I don't. What don't you understand, Simon? Asked Jesus. Well, I've been trying to figure out who you are. Are you a prophet? Are you a teacher? Are you a doctor? Let's see what the others think, said Jesus. Jesus asked all his friends to sit down under an olive tree with him. Now tell me, said Jesus, when you are talking to the people who gather around, who do people say I am? Some say you are John the Baptist. I heard someone say, Jesus is really the prophet Elijah, come back to life. And I've heard people say you are the prophet Jeremiah. Each of the disciples had heard something different. Jesus was laughing. Well, I can't be all those people. Who do you think I am? Simon's face lit up. He had a new idea. I know. You are the Christ. You are the Messiah. You are the one God is sending to save us all. Simon was very excited. Jesus was quiet for a long time. He looked at his friends, and then he looked hard at Simon. Simon, my friend, God gave you that new idea. You didn't get that idea all by yourself. It's a big idea. It's a hard idea. Your idea is like a big, hard, solid rock. So I'm going to give you a new name. Your name will not be Simon anymore. It will be Peter. Peter means rock. This idea, Peter, this big rock of an idea will never go away. All my friends, all the people who follow me in God's way will remember your idea. Always. It will be like a solid rock they can stand on. But for now, said Jesus, this has to be our secret. The crowds that come to hear me wouldn't understand. The disciples and Jesus talked for a long time. They had many questions. Would Jesus live in a big palace? Would he have soldiers to fight for him? No, no, said Jesus. That's not the kind of Messiah God wants me to be. Listen, friends. It is going to be very hard for all of us. The people who have lots of money, the rulers who have big armies, will get angry at me. They will kill me. No way, yelled Peter. That won't happen to you. No way. Peter, Jesus sounded angry, when you talk like that, you are not being my friend. Poor Peter. Now he was really mixed up. And then Jesus sat down beside Peter. He took Peter's hand. It will be very hard for you to be my friends. Jesus spoke very softly. You won't be rich. You won't be powerful. Many people will hate you. Some people will try to hurt you. Some of you will be killed. God's power is the power of love, Peter. That's all. It's very hard to understand. Many people won't like it. It's very hard to live in God's way. Those who live in God's way have only one kind of power. It's the power of love. Peter was still mixed up. He didn't know how Jesus could be the Christ and still let people hurt him. But Peter could feel the power of Jesus' love. So Peter felt strong inside, strong as a rock.
So before I go, I just want to talk a little bit about that story. So why do you think Peter was called the rock? Do you remember when you think about rocks? Rocks have been part of some of the stories that I've been sharing with you, or some of the ideas that I've been sharing with you over the past while. So why do you think Peter was the rock? Some people think Peter was the rock because he showed in his answer to Jesus, when Jesus asked the disciples who he was, Peter had the answer. Peter knew that Jesus was the chosen one. And Jesus said, Peter, you didn't get that answer just from yourself. That's a new idea. You got that idea from God. So that is a special kind of recognition that Peter had about Jesus. And another thing that Jesus talked about was the kind of power. The disciples were wondering what kind of power Jesus would have. Would Jesus have a special kingdom where he was the ruler and was the most powerful ruler? And Jesus said, no, my power isn't like that. My power is the power of love. That is the strength. So Peter could feel Jesus' love, and that love made him feel strong inside. Strong like a rock. So when you think of God's love, when you think of the love from Jesus, you can imagine it like a rock, and it can help you feel strong. Okay, so have a good week this week, everyone, and we'll talk to you again next week, August 30th. Wow. All right, bye-bye.